I bet you've tried to start reading. I mean, you've been on self-improvement, you've been trying to get that reading habit, and maybe you succeeded for a little bit. You got into a few pages of your book, alhamdulillah, and then you don't see that book for the next few months. And I mean, this happened to me with a specific book, The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz. I literally read like 20 pages, and the next week I read 2, and then the next month I read 1, and like I could never really just go through the book. I could never implement a proper reading habit. So you have to get this reading habit on the way, because of course this can lead us to actually reading the Quran every day, gaining knowledge of our deen, gaining knowledge of our dunya, so that we can progress in the best of ways. We got to figure out how to get that information, and that is the goal of the video. How to practically create a reading habit and enjoy reading in the process, because alhamdulillah, I now love reading. Like, I'm really big on trying to get off social media completely, and it's been really helpful to gain an actual fun reading habit against like forcing myself to discipline it, and that's what I'm going to explain here, inshallah. So let's get into the video. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Sultan. I make videos for brothers who want to progress in their deen and their dunya. And if you like this type of content of improving for the sake of Allah and Islamic self-improvement, subscribe inshallah, because you'll have more access to videos like this that help you progress in your deen and your dunya. And if you want to join like-minded brothers like you, and there's also a sister server, please do join the different discords, because then you'll be able to speak to people just like you, like-minded, in the sense that they also want to progress in their deen and their dunya. And let's get into the video. So for me, I think from 2021 to 2023, I never really had a perfected reading habit. I had like this fight internally. Like, I wanted to read, and I bought lots of books. I think I spent like $200-300 on books, and it would just sit on my shelf, and I just would never read them, because I could never cultivate that time. I mean, I read it every time of the day. I tried everything, and nothing would stick, because I never enjoyed reading. It always felt like a chore. After school, I have to come home and read, and also have to read their set work, until I learned these few secrets that help me actually enjoy reading and actually get consistent with it. Because I find that Shaitan has been fighting everybody. And I'm a big history nerd, so I'm going to tell you the truth. The Nazis, they did a ceremony where they would burn books, because even Hitler knew that knowledge was super powerful, and he couldn't let his populace get there, because they would understand the badness of his ideology. So he would only give books to party officials, and he would burn the books from the public domain, because he didn't want ideas to get into the people's minds. So I think what Shaitan has done here is he's made us programmed, and I'm going to help you destroy this programming, into a life where, I mean, if you know where to look, books are free. And not just that, books are cheaper than they've ever been in the whole of the history. And now we have access to them, but we don't read them, because Satan has put in a system where you scroll your mind away. And not just that, you get so traumatized of reading books that you don't even want to read it because of school. And that's what I'm going to be speaking about just now. How we can overcome that and overcome Shaitan's trap, so that we can gain ilm about our deen. And of course, we can gain knowledge about our dunya to progress in it. So practically, what does it mean? The first strategy that I used personally was reading in the mornings. For me, I think it's super calming, and I've tried reading it every single time interval. It's just because it's before school. I think having it before school makes my mind actually enjoy the reading. It's not like it's exhausting or anything. The only times that I've ever been consistent in reading was the beginning of 2022, and from 2023 onwards, that was when I was reading in the mornings, not when I was reading at night. So alhamdulillah, I think that's going to help you out. Next thing is to habit bunch. So on top of reading in the morning, you should habit bunch it, which basically just means that you have an established habit and use that habit to bolster a new one. So for me, I eat breakfast in the morning and I enjoy it. I love it. It's fun. So I let breakfast be that thing that I will do every day. And while I eat breakfast, I learn to read. So I get my e-reader out, and I'm just eating my oats while I'm reading about whatever, history, personal development, business, whatever it is, like non-fiction books. And that's what you do. Maybe for you, you want to have a coffee time, or you have a specific thing that you do in the mornings. You could even do audiobooks while you train. I don't know. Anything that is already established, that you can already start a reading habit, that is what we're going to do. We're just going to add it in. Have freedom. This is the big thing that had really destroyed me and made me not enjoy reading, because I made it like a chore. I made it like a habit, like all of my other habits. But that's not what reading is. Reading is the desire to learn. Every human being wants to learn, and that's why we go on YouTube, that's why we come here. But the best learning happens from books. And the thing is that we don't treat books like it should. We should treat books like YouTube. When you're interested in a book, you read it. So for me, what I used to do is I'd say, I have to read this book until I finish it. And some people, they recommend you read a chapter each. I don't like that. Rather, what I do, and I think you should do this as well, is you should start reading whatever you want. Like, give yourself a non-fiction time and a fiction time, because I found that fiction for me has been a way to destroy social media from my life and destroy movies and Netflix, because that's what I was really fighting against. And alhamdulillah, it's such a healthy way to get entertained. just to read fiction books. Of course, you're learning the habit of reading and you're not stimulating yourself so much. And of course, non-fiction. Right now, I'm reading $100 Million Leads by Alex Hormozi. Sometimes I want to read business. Sometimes I want to read history. Sometimes I want to read personal development. Whatever your mind wants to read at that moment, read that. Because then it's fun. Then you're learning what you want. You're not doing a set work. Because, bro, I swear, I think my trauma comes from Moby Dick. I don't know if anyone read Moby Dick because it is so bad. I'm sorry if I'm offending anyone, but I hate that book. It hurt my mind how long, and it's about a whale and catching a whale. I don't understand it. Maybe one day I will get it. But okay, so giving yourself that freedom of learning what you want to learn. Don't be restricted by one book. You have to finish this book. Because that's what I used to do, and I hated it because it became a chore. It became like when my teacher tells me to read a book, I gotta finish it. Then of course you're not gonna like it because you're already doing it. Why are you doing more of it? And the next thing, which has also really helped me, the last two secrets are the best ones, this one and this one. This is engaging. I am a sucker for annotating all my books, man. I write them every note. I highlight. I do the same thing in my e-reader. I do like highlights and I press notes and stuff. I also like doing a few notes on my book. I don't know if I can find any. This is my just general book, and I just make any notes that I need, and then I implement it in my life. So what I mean by implementing your life is you shouldn't just take the information as information. When you engage, you're making notes on how you can actually implement it into your business, how you can implement it into your improvement in the deen or the dunya. So for me, for example, I was reading a passage where Alex Hormozi was speaking about the word because in CTAs. So you might notice that my CTA is a bit different. I tell you, do X because the word because, like scientifically proven word that will make you more likely to do the thing that I just told you to do. So you see how I made a note of that in my little book, and now I implement it into the videos. Now I'm actually learning from the book. These are the things that have made reading really fun. Reading in the mornings, habit bunching, freedom, and engaging. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.